Hey, this is John Samuel, the host of All Access with John Samuel, the show where we share the stories of entrepreneurs, leaders, and advocates, and how they're improving the lives for people of all abilities. And today we have a very, very special guest. We have my friend Jennison, who is the head of accessibility engineering evangelism, in addition to the co-founder of Global Accessibility Awareness Day. So welcome, Jennison.
Hey, John, it's a pleasure to be here. And can I just start by wishing everyone a happy GAD. Joe Devon, who's my co-founding partner on GAD, and I cannot believe we made it to our 10th running of this event. It's rather alarming to both of us.
That is so cool. Yeah, when you started this 10 years ago, what were your thoughts? How long do you think this is going to go?
Maybe a year, just that one time. Because we literally picked up, like metaphorically picked up the phone and just randomly asked our friends that we knew to run events in different cities on May 9th of 2012.
Okay.
And we got people in the States and in Australia and in India and in Canada and in other places, which I'm forgetting, and people are gonna come after me because I have a bad memory. But in all kinds of places. And we found out about other events after the fact. And people were just like, when we did the second year, it just got bigger and bigger. And then last year, of course, with everyone at home, everyone's minds were elsewhere. But we ended up having over 200 online events last year of some shape or form.
That is
so
fantastic.
it has been monumental. Thank everyone out there.
That's awesome. How many countries? I think so actually you were the very first guest I ever did this show with. So, I forget how many countries, or do you remember how many countries?
No. I'm just, it's a global movement. Well, what's really exciting though now is that we're having these conversations around Global Accessibility Awareness Day in a number of different languages. So if people go up today to globalaccessibilityawarenessday.org, you'll see and hear greetings on our 10th anniversary in a number of different languages. We've got material up now in languages like from Spanish to Swahili, because this really is about getting the world talking about, thinking about, learning about digital access and inclusion for over 1 billion people with different abilities.
Yeah,
that's a lot of people. We're the largest minority group out there, and we all want to use the same mobile apps and same websites in our everyday lives, particularly in employment. None of us ever want to be in a situation where we are doing half a job or none of a job because the technology that we need to use to be productive and successful in our roles isn't digitally accessible.
Yeah, for sure. And so you touched on that employment. So I want to dig into that. So what are 3 takeaways you think that organizations, should be thinking about in terms of GAD? And so let's start with the first one.
Yeah. So the very first one, I love it. Everyone's so enthusiastic to want to hire people with different disabilities or impairments in all kinds of roles. It's all become a big thing with the diversity, equity, and inclusion philosophy, more so this year, where we're hearing a lot of disability and those kind of best practice. But before you start opening up the doors, I would say you need to be strategic and target a couple of roles and find out if all of the digital tools that are involved in those roles and in the next role up are actually accessible. So, because you want to set your employees up for success. If they're going to come in, take a job, and one or more of their technologies isn't working, sure, they might be all like, oh, that's okay, or whatnot. Here's the reality. They're happy to have a job. They're not going to complain. The fact that your digital tools are not accessible is not excusable. It shouldn't be the situation where that employee ends up having to advocate for their own accessibility of the tools they need to do to earn their keep like everyone else. And I talk about the next roll up because no person with a disability, certainly similar to people without disabilities, should be stagnant and staying in the same role. So that's tip number 1.
All right, I love it. What's next?
Tip number 2 is how accessible exactly digitally is your interview and recruitment process. Depending on what the role is, you might end up using whiteboards, digital whiteboards. You might end up using so I'm in tech, so I'll say you might be using some sort of coding application and have people do a coding exercise, or it might be like a standard interview process. But what if there's any tooling that's involved? Is any of that accessible? Because again, you don't want a candidate with a disability to show up and you put a tool in front of them and say, go do this, prove yourself, and they can't because it's not accessible. So tip number 2, and this is in no particular order, but tip number 2 is make sure your recruitment, your hiring, and your onboarding process,
Yep.
exactly, all of those with anything to do with digital pieces, mobile apps, websites, an iPad that they have to sign, the offer letter. I tell this joke all the time. It's not a joke, but in my working life, I have never been able to independently sign an offer letter because they have all been images of text. And you had to then anyway had to either use a mouse or scribble to get that done. So check on those things. So that's tip number 2.
All right, now the third and final one. What do you think?
The third and final one: engage your procurement organization in your company and make sure that you identify the top used third-party apps, whether they're apps that you use internally or apps that you're integrating in your external stuff. And make sure, and that could be a recruitment tool, and get your recruitment folks to reach out to your top 5, top 10 of those third-party vendors and ask them, where are you with accessibility? I don't want to just see a VPAT or VPAT. I want you to tell me, what's your roadmap to make your stuff accessible? Because to the degree to which your stuff is not accessible, you're putting my company at risk. And you're making it so that my employees or my customers can't use our stuff because your piece of technology that we've purchased is not accessible. So those are the 3 tips that I've got.
All right, so let's recap that. It's going to be, the first one is, let's target a few jobs, make sure that they're fully accessible, and we're setting up employees up for success.
Digitally accessible, yes.
Digitally accessible. Yep. Next is, then we're going to be looking at the onboarding, hiring, and recruitment process. Make sure that that entire process is accessible and that people,
people can sign their own offer letters. Yes. They can read and sign their own offer letters.
And then 3 is going to be, make sure, go and do an assessment of your top 30-party vendors. Make sure that not just what their VPAT says, but making sure where they are in their accessibility roadmap. Is that correct?
Make friends with your procurement or sourcing organization. They will be your best friend in that.
That is awesome. I mean, those are 3 things that we at Able Read talk about quite a bit. And I'm super excited to kind of validate that with one of the icons in the industry. And so thank you for that. And so, I think, where are you going to be, right now? Where are you going to be on the 20th doing what and what is going on, man?
Sure. I am right now in Las Vegas. Joe Devon, my co-founding partner, happens to live in Las Vegas, which is perfect for me because who doesn't love being in Vegas? But we're here not only to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Global Accessibility Awareness Day event and to really just enjoy that with some of our friends out here. But we are also announcing today the launch of something that will keep Joe and I even busier than we thought we already were. We are announcing today the launch of the GAD Foundation.
Wow! And what? Tell us more. What is this?
Yeah. And so I'll keep it very simple. We always hear that security and privacy are first-class citizens when it comes to tech. We are going to make it happen that accessibility join privacy and security, and not just in words only, but in deeds as a first-class citizen in tech. We demand that accessibility will become part of the product development process for not only digital products, but for technology in general. And we are going to be reaching beyond the accessibility space, which we will take along, obviously, and of course with us, but we will be engaging leaders in all walks of life who care about technology or who are known as technology like nerds, if you want to call them, or people, and we are going to get them all to be talking about accessibility and the importance of it, because it's not only just the big companies and the small stores and all of that. It's the folks on Instagram and TikTok who are talking about technology and life. And we want them to be captioning their videos and just making that all part of the regular day-to-day process. So if you go to GAD, which is GAAD.foundation, you'll learn all about what we have planned.
I love it. Jennison, you just keep on, knocking it out of the park. So I know this is gonna be a great success, and I can't.
Thank you. And certainly, like on Twitter, the GAAD or the GAD hashtag, certainly on LinkedIn, similar. The hashtag is GAD, nothing else, or at least the official hashtag is GAAD. Depending on when you see this or hear this video, at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time today, May 20th, the A11Y Bay meetup, which is a meetup that I co-lead, is going to be hosting the largest meetup talking about accessibility and inclusive design happening today. So if you go to meetup.com/A11Y Bay, you can RSVP for this meetup so long as it's before 4:30 Pacific time, which is 7:30 Eastern in the evening. And join us. Joe will be with me. We have at least 3 amazing speakers. And we're just going to have a great time for 2 hours, just really celebrating GAD and the foundation.
Dude, this is awesome. I am just so, so proud and excited, and everyone check it out, join the meetup, let's make it even bigger. And again, Jennison, thank you so much for everything. You've been just been an honor to be your friend, and just to kind of to see what you do. And I'm so thankful, and I look forward to supporting you in the foundation and everything that you do. So thank you.
Thank you so much, and thanks for everything you're doing, man, because we need to get more of us, and I speak as a person with a disability, completely blind. We need more of us working, because it's lonely in tech. I need some more friends who are blind working in tech.
Let's do it. We are going to do that. We are going to change that. So I'm with you, man. I love you. Thank you so much.